Right. Here you are. Here we are at the Vinyl Collective. It's episode 11. We're coming there at the end of the year.
Yeah.
As usual, it's me, Topper, here with my co-host.
John. Yeah. You were saying earlier almost 12 episodes.
Yeah.
It's almost a school term.
Yeah, it's almost a school term. Yeah, fuck it. Oh, God. But, welcome to the Vinyl Collective. You know, unfiltered, candid conversations surrounding the R&B and hip-hop landscape.
Yeah.
A weekly dose. And yeah, to start off, like you said, it has been 12 weeks. It's been like a semester of content. And similar to what's been going on in the country, we're going to have an episode where, we tier our favorite, our favorite albums. We put, certain artists and albums into tiers. But unlike our UK government, we don't intend to change these tiers at whim.
You can't escape from tier 3, can you?
Because we have balls and we stick to our decisions. So stay tuned for that one. How you doing, John?
I'm good. Yeah. The festive season is beginning. Are you a Christmas music guy? I've never asked you this before, actually.
But we spoke about it. I can't remember what episode it was. Was it episode 2 or episode 3? Something like that. I think I was talking about the time when I used to work in a supermarket and they would play like Christmas music on rotation the whole shift.
Oh yeah.
So I used to be a fan of Christmas music, but I think that
turned you off.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Michael
karaoke.
Bublé doesn't do it for you.
He does.
He
That's the
does.
thing. No,
Oh,
that's the
good.
thing.
Yeah.
This
That's
was
what I
all
wanted to hear.
This was all before I worked that particular Christmas job, but it was bad. Like I've never. So when somebody just kills it for you, like I can't look at this thing the same way.
The way you're struggling to describe it suggests
it was bad.
as
Like because also like you already don't want to be there, and then now on top of this you've got all this like jingles. Like I didn't think I'd get bored of Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas" or Jackson 5's "What's Got So Mommy Kissing Santa Claus" stuff like that, but. All these, do you know what I mean? I know all of these songs. I think I probably know them word for word, but it's just the love out. I've just been sucked to dry because obviously whilst I'm listening to these songs, I'm stacking shelves. So it's just,
I get you. I get you.
What about you?
I haven't gone for it yet this year. I don't know. I feel like usually I'll try. I mean, it's such a British thing to say, isn't it? When it gets to Christmas, not feeling very Christmassy this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really feel in the spirit. Not feeling very festive.
I don't think people mention it much this year. I think people just got other stuff in their mind.
Yeah, other
Do you know
stuff in their mind.
Do you know what I mean? It's been a crazy year,
It
man.
has.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think anyone really wants to like give this year any more of their time. I think people are ready to move on, rightly so. I mean,
but also people are same way that people think. January New Year's resolutions are a thing. People think 2021. They're like, it's my year.
I think people are scared to say it this time.
Time is just time's a concept.
It is a concept. Like
January is not going to be any different to December.
No, but I think it's just more about we've been in this situation, especially in the UK, for like 9 months now. The question is more, how do you adapt? How do you kind of because again, we don't know when this is going to end. We know, hopefully the vaccine and stuff like that, it's going to end eventually, but when that's going to end, we don't know. We can't just sit around and do nothing. Why not, make a podcast or something? But yeah, no, it's I don't know. It doesn't feel very Christmassy this year. Even like in terms of Christmas lights, because obviously no one's really going outside like that. Like one thing I always used to like, even though I know I'm not Christian, but I really enjoy like Christmas decorations. I love Christmas decorations.
Yeah, my family going for that.
Yeah, like do you know what it is? Like when I was younger, we used to have like we used to have a Christmas tree, which is quite weird, but I always liked like it's a really weird scene, but like I like Christmas trees when the lights are off and you're going to bed and you just see the tree like glowing in the corner. I don't know, that part always like I like weird. That. It's weird, but do you know what, I like Christmas lights. Like I just like the theme of it, but I think this year like everything's just gone to shit.
No, I think I enjoy just when you're walking around the streets and you see other people's houses. I enjoy looking at it, but I wouldn't want my house to look like that.
I think as I get older as well, it's two things. One, it's like, damn, that's cringe as fuck.
It's a bit tacky.
Yeah,
sometimes.
And two, it's like, damn, look at that light bill. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm not trying to pay that. Like,
that is a sign of someone that's just moved out.
Yes, do you know what I mean? like no, like
an electricity bill on that.
Yeah, no, it's just like, if my kid came to me, if I have kids and they're like, oh, dad, let's get the Christmas lights. I'm like, No, like I don't care how
that,
how
son.
much they cry. I'm not doing that because again, it's also cold. So you want me to like put all these fixings on in the cold? Like I'm not doing that. I hate the cold. Like no. I'll give you like a little what do they call it? The fidget spinners with Christmas lights on it, and that'll be it.
Wow. Absolute Scrooge over here.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I say on the Christmas period. To be honest.
I guess another question I was going to ask you, given we were talking, what was it? We were saying like pandemic, the way that's kind of changed listening habits and stuff. But what about this time of year? I guess with like days getting darker, like 3:00. Does that kind of impact music? No?
I think for me it's more. I don't.
Because literally, I mean, when the sun sets at like 4:00, and then I'm kind of thinking, oh, it's evening time to switch to a bit.
I'm not a seasonal listener, so that doesn't really bother me. I think there are music for seasons. Like I always joke with my friends, like 24 Karat Magic is a Christmas album. Like no, it's not. Like, no, but everyone always plays it during Christmas. But I think it's less applicable this year because obviously seasonal music is normally social music, like summertime music.
That's
get
true.
out with people and obviously social distancing, all that stuff. We're not really being as social as we usually be. So yeah. So yeah, not really. I mean, I listen to whatever I want, especially the sun's always out. So, and I think I listen to music pretty much quite frequently throughout the day, so it doesn't really bother me.
Fair enough. Yeah. Someone I have been listening to, someone I know you've been listening to, Lila Ike.
Yes, Lila Ike.
Talk to me.
I mean, yeah, obviously you introduced me to Lila Ike quite some time ago. This was, I can't even remember when. I don't know if it was during the summer, maybe even before that. And I don't know how the fuck you found her, like, because I went on Spotify and what's it called? It was like 34,000 listens, something like that. Like it was really low.
It was not a lot, was it?
Yes, I don't know how the fuck he found this person. I was like, oh, okay. And you told me, okay, like it's a really good record, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it out. It's like 28 minutes. That you know me. I think you know me as well. Like I love a short album, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll give it a listen. And honestly, I was so surprised at the level of execution for someone who's like I've never heard of before. She's very, very well polished. And
she's released like a string of singles kind of over the last few years, and then she comes out with a 26-minute EP that's just like so well done.
Yeah, and I think some of the songs
are so polished.
I know that songs like Second Chance and I Spy were singles beforehand, fair enough, but the EP itself is like, wow, like I would have thought you've been doing this for a while. Like literally blown away. Like every song, honestly, like it doesn't, like, obviously I know for EP and it's short, it can't, you only have space to be boring, but honestly, I think her ability to move from different genres with the way she uses her voice and the beat as well, and the fact that it's done in a really genuine way. It's not like she's going to like patois and it's like really gimmicky and stuff like that, and always she goes like a little
the
like,
transitions are just natural.
the transitions are so smooth. It's like, wow, like I don't think I've heard that from someone before. Again, I don't know all music, but it's like I haven't really heard that. Like I can imagine her as like a soul feature on like a rap song, but at the same time I can imagine her doing a feature of Coffee at the same time. Like it's really weird, like you have someone like that. So no, honestly, a fantastic list. I can't wait to watch out for. I can't wait for a full project from her. I feel like it's gonna blow people away. And she got nominated for the MOBO, which I didn't know until we did the Spotlight series. But yeah, no, I mean, no surprise. Fact she's getting nominated for a MOBO just off of an EP kind of calls to her talent, doesn't it?
I mean, our weekly her reference. A lot of people get nominated off EPs. There we go. Kid Cudi dropped recently.
Man on the Moon 3. The thing is, I actually grew up listening to quite a bit of Kid Cudi. I don't know where that love for Kid Cudi.
So I guess different perceptions.
Quite weird. No, like I was one of those people when I heard Day and Night, I was like, oh, it's just a British lad made a nice little hit song. I was like, wait, he's not British. Like, what the fuck? And I thought that was really interesting. I thought, okay, this guy is super interesting. Since the Man on the Moon one, didn't like Man on the Moon 2 as much. And obviously, the Speed and Bullet to Heaven was a speed and bullet to most people's hearts. To most people's hearts. Like, I think that killed most of his fan base in terms of people loved Kid Cudi. So I think, obviously, he was going through stuff and like he's kind of taking that time to
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
refine. So obviously, I think I actually really enjoyed Kids See Ghost. So I haven't listened to this album yet, but I'm definitely planning to, because I think I like you know, he's one of those artists like I like him when he's working with other people. I feel like he's kind of that wild card. Kind of reminds you of Ty Dolla $ign in a sense, but I think like
Yeah.
he can also stand on his own in the project. So yeah, can't wait to see. Have you heard it?
I've listened to it once the whole way through. It's a long album. I think it's like must be like 21 songs. It's over 20 songs, I think.
Okay.
I liked
Fucking
it.
hate
Yeah,
that shit,
there was
son.
a good I think Skepta's. There was a Skepta feature
Yeah.
with Pop Smoke.
Yeah.
There was one with Phoebe Bridgers, which I thought was really good. That was pretty
Yeah, I
good,
know
that
that
songs.
because you shout out for the Grammys, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, John's like this. Yeah,
she's good. But yeah, I guess obviously he's missed the window for the Grammys.
I don't
You
think he's
know.
going for it, to be honest.
Do you not?
I don't think he cares about that stuff. I don't think he's that type of guy.
No.
No, he's never. I don't think he's ever been that type of guy. Really, I don't think he's like I need everyone to kind of look at me type of guy. I think he's just like yeah, I like to
Does his
create.
thing go
Yeah, I think he
Okay.
just likes to make music, to be honest.
Yeah. Fair
Yeah,
enough. But yeah, coming to the end of the year,
the end of the year.
we've had a lot of music, a lot of varied music, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say to you like I didn't want to go for like super general and tell you, oh, what do you think of this year? But I guess was the year kind of how you expected it to go? Because I know every year people have their expectations of what type of records they think are gonna come out, and you know how those records are gonna sound. Like, do you feel like the records you've listened to reflect what you expected, and did they live up to those expectations?
I think I was obviously expecting like January, February time before the pandemic and stuff hit. I was expecting projects that didn't come this year. So obviously Jid was what we were both
Yes.
hoping for.
Yes.
I'd kind of had in the back of my mind that Little Sims would come back quickly with another album. I know she dropped an EP, not a full length.
I wasn't expecting that actually. No.
Maybe we're on different. Yeah,
Fair
I had a
enough,
feeling
yeah.
she wasn't gonna let it rest. She was just gonna come straight back with like another album.
I thought she was gonna because I think Great Area was so no, it's not to make this another Little Sims episode, but like I thought the success of Grey Area was so high. I thought she was probably just let that ride for a bit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Fair enough.
I mean, it's still kind of growing with people. I think people are still discovering her off that record. So I think I'll be surprised. I actually not disappointed. Obviously, she can do what the fuck she wants, but I'll be quite surprised she kind of like didn't let that album kind of grow, mature the way I feel like it should, and get the appreciation I feel like it should.
Yeah, fair enough. I think maybe in retrospect, looking at the whole year, I think there's been less projects that like you can specifically tell have been like made during the pandemic.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lack of
I know we've
pandemic
talked about
music.
it and been like, oh, there's
Yeah.
music or there's songs that are like specifically about lockdown, Anderson
Yeah.
Paak or whoever. But I think there are actually less albums getting to December that I'm like, yes, that was 2020.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and it's weird because obviously for me, music usually is a kind of like a reflection of the times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's tricky because obviously you don't want to come across corny and be like, oh, you know, we're in lockdown and, you know, stuff like that. But there's major movements this year, like obviously Black Lives Matter movement, like, amidst the pandemic as well. So
Yeah.
it is quite surprising that people haven't really made music that reflects that. However, at the same time, when it comes to making music, some people do this like months, years in advance. So sometimes they're like, okay, I don't want to like throw all of this out the window because of what's happening right now. And maybe they'll address it in a later record or anything like that. And number two, because of the pandemic as well, like artists are kind of struggling in a sense because they can't tour. So it's like, okay, if I'm paying for all the studio time, I can't.
What am I going to get out of this?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can't. How am I getting this money back? Do you know what I mean? Like, not saying all of them are broke. Obviously, a lot of them probably aren't broke. But it's like you do have to be a bit smart of how often you record and stuff like that. Like, you can't just go into the studio willy nilly and it's like, fuck it, we'll just chill in the studio and like order food all night. Like, you can't do that no more. Like, you have to be really intentional, or you're gonna have to find like a home setup. To be honest.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, obviously there has been a lot of like, as you're saying, with the pandemic and social unrest, like politics this year and stuff.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of like material. There's a lot of like stimuli, and I think maybe more than the pandemic, I think artists that I've been listening to have probably like been reactionary to the politics side of it.
Yeah.
I think more so to like the pandemic, which has been interesting. But we'll get into which albums specifically in a
Yeah,
minute.
for sure. I mean, I think with the pandemic, just to add on to it, I think it's just something that's understood. Like, I'm trying to think of it now. Like, if I was to make music about the pandemic, what would I really say? Like, a virus came, and we had to react. That was pretty much it. Like,
it'd be more of like a self-reflection thing. Like, I've had all this time to myself. What have I found out? Like,
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, compared to, like, for example, like, you know, George Floyd protest and all of that, there's discussions to have around that, because that's not something that's like open and shut. Like, oh, everyone understands. Yeah, it's ongoing. It's not a thing that everyone understands and be like, oh, okay, right, cool, I understand this, move on. But with a virus and a pandemic, obviously it's not the first pandemic in human history. I think people kind of understand that already. Like, I don't think they need a musician to tell them about that, and it would just come across a bit corny, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you know what I mean? Especially if like you make a song about a global pandemic and then you're getting the proceeds from that as well. I think that might rub people the wrong way as well. So it's a fine line. It's a fine line with that one.
I mean, Taylor Swift did it in a more subtle way. You know, she retreated to the cabins.
Yeah.
The cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
She released the second album. I told you. I
was it Evermore?
Evermore. Yeah. On our hip hop and R&B show, we're talking about Taylor Swift. Yeah. I didn't, for the fans out there, I didn't think it was as good as the first.
Didn't it come out like a week ago?
Yeah, I've listened to
of course we have.
times already.
Of course you have. Fuck it all, mate.
But yeah, I guess getting into our albums, today we're going to talk about numbers 10 to 6.
Yes.
So we're just going to talk about our top 10 albums. Before we get into that, I guess in the same way as when we review albums, like Grey Area, you know, Leander Havas, what kind of criteria are we looking at for like, you know, a top album of 2020?
Okay. I kind of usually go with the same criteria every year.
Yeah.
It's been quite refined for a few years. So it's two things. One, like, how much of an impact did the music have on me? Because obviously it's my list. So that's important to me. And two, just how much I went back to it. I think that's also a thing as well. Like, I think before I was trying to be too objective, like, oh, like, this is a good body of work, but I've only gone back to it like 3 times this year. Do you know what I mean? Compared to maybe songs where maybe I don't think it's as well put together, but I've gone back to it so many fucking times. Obviously, there's exceptions. Like, there might be, like, for example, especially with this year, it's like, oh, if the real world existed, I probably would listen to this more on my train commutes or in the car, or maybe I'd really like react to this song at a club or something. So that's where you kind of have to like fill in the blanks that would have been there the years prior, where it's like, if this was this way, I would probably like this album more. So that's kind of been that's the kind of the extra thing I've kind of added for this year. But I don't think it's changed too much. I think like, I feel like, again, because I listen to music pretty much like every day, like, the albums I like and albums I gravitate towards, I'll probably go back to, because again, I'm quite an album person. Like, I don't mind singles, but like, when a person has an album, I like going back to like, I can't just do like I know you're more of a playlist guy, you put on a playlist. I'm just more like, oh, I feel like this artist today, so I'll just put on all the music for that day. So it's very easy to go back to an album over and over and over again. Yeah,
those two definitely, and then obviously our normal ones like production.
Yes,
I know this year's been a year for producers.
Yes, gosh, yes, we definitely get into that.
Gosh, like narrative, like the context as well, like we're saying, and then also track listing, like how does the album flow, how do the songs work together, and then is there a concept that the album's based on, and how does it actually work?
Do you know what it is? We should definitely have an episode on this, so I won't say too much, but I know a lot of people feel like, oh, people only call albums good when there's a concept behind it.
That's not true.
But I get the point though, because obviously when there's a concept behind it, there's usually a story, and people relate to stories. So it's like, so obviously that is kind of like a
it doesn't have to be the case though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know it doesn't have to be the case, but it's just interesting you say that, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, like, you know, there's albums that aren't concepts that can still be good, which is true. I think it's just a lot harder to get to people, because again, people like to connect with music, and it's a lot easier to connect with people with concepts. But no, I get what you're saying.
That is true.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we should just get into it. Let's start. Because today obviously we're doing 10 to 6. So
let's do it.
Just walk me through your 10 to 6.
I'm going first.
Albums.
Okay.
Yeah, of course you're going first.
So I've been thinking about this for a while, and I think the 10 hasn't changed. I think the order has changed.
Yeah. Because I've made a mental list of what I think you're.
Okay.
We talked through this a couple of days ago on the phone. We're like saying what we thought each other would do for the top 10. But yeah, go for it. I've got a list.
So, 1, 2, 3.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Okay, cool. So at number 10, I have Edna by Heading On.
Oh, I was not expecting that to come in top 10.
Yeah.
That is a wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's surprising, right? But again, I have to look at,
Okay.
okay, what I go back to often. And I think when you talk about Edna, like Edna had so many fucking bangers. Like Edna had like a lot of fucking bangers. Obviously the outro, Mainstream, Princess Cut,
Parlez Vous Anglais. That song every single time I hit
the Skepta song, like he had a lot of good songs. I mean, Only You, his verse, like if you think about it, like I know it's like a 20 track record, but
it's 20, yeah.
But a lot of the tracks hold up.
Okay.
So it's like, again, obviously it's not number one, is it? But like, I think just talking about UK artists, I think similar to last year, I think UK is bringing it again. Like again, it's not like I think last year was a bit stronger. You also had Grey Area, Psychodrama, AJ Tracy, Heavy's Head. Like, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good. Yeah, Kano. Yeah. That's a tough category to beat. But this year, like, I still think like it's still the quality hasn't dropped as much as I thought it would. So
the quantities.
Yeah, I think the quantities probably a bit less. Obviously, you know, A tier artists normally drop in cycles. So it's, you know, some years older than take a break. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I know we'll do a discussion of all of them. But number nine, I have Run the Jewels 4.
Oh, okay. All right. Number 9. Yep.
Number 8, I have Car Descendants of Cain.
Okay.
Number 7, I have Blue in Exile, Miles.
Okay. I thought I'd be higher up. We can talk about it.
And number 6, I have Chloe and Halle on Godly Hour. So,
nice.
What do you have? I mean, we'll kind of talk about all of them.
Yeah. You looked like you were under pressure when
I mean, no, I was kind of thinking about. I'm going this list. No, but I'm happy with this list. Keep going.
You know, honestly, did you make any quick changes just now?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't.
I'm now worried, and I'm like, should I change this around? Okay, number 10, I have Tiana Taylor, the album.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Number 9, I have Chloe Halle.
Nice.
Godly Hour.
Nice.
Yeah. Number 8, I have Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Number 7, I have Jay Huss, Big Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And number 6, I have Boldy James and The Alchemist and The Price of Tea in China.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
I know you like Alchemist. I'm pretty sure Alchemist is dominated by that.
We'll see.
By that one. Okay, cool. Gosh, which album I'm gonna go for?
Where do we cross over then?
Let's talk about Chloe and Halle. Like, I think their year has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I've known Chloe and Halle like the whole time.
Yeah, I haven't. I literally came onto them this year, I think, because of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, when someone signs to Beyonce, you have to know about that. Man. Like, come on, like it's Beyonce.
Executive producer Beyonce.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think they're one of the first people I know to sign to Beyonce. It's like, you know, Beyonce, like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? So
the Beyonce seal of approval.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So you had like, what's it called? So I know their first album was The Kids Are Alright or something like that. Right. Yeah, and that was a really good record. That came out 2016? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2016. Obviously, fantastic year for music. One day we're gonna talk about that, but absolutely ridiculous year. But yeah. So I think coming to Ungodly Hour, I was shocked about. I mean, I get it because obviously they're grown and I think they're kind of like old enough globally to kind of talk about some of the things they're talking about, which is because
that's the thing that must have turned a lot of people off. I guess if they were kind of the younger generation.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Because I think was it like 22 and 20 something like that, like they're early 20s. So I think a lot of people was like, oh, they couldn't start their first album kind of talking about things that probably aren't appropriate. So it's like I think it's good they kind of bide at a time when obviously kids, even if they're young, they're still going through things like relationship stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? I think Ungodly Hour is like a good, really good follow up, and
they're grown women. Like,
do you know what I mean? Now, so. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean? You kind of see that it's like, okay, I'm grown now, and they're kind of like, it's not just them like sending songs like sexy songs, you know, like sex sells. They're just trying to make like songs that are just kind of like appealing that way. It's like no, like. There's just like it's even though it might come across as that. I feel it's just like an album that kind of reflects maturity.
Yeah.
And like maybe some of the, you know, ungodly quote unquote. I think it's like a bit of a satire with the name Ungodly Hour. And you obviously have songs like the title track, produced by Disclosure, fantastic song. Forgive Me.
Yeah.
Like they're being really honest about some of the experiences they're facing. And again, kind of being quite still being quite young about it. Like, you know, songs like Tipsy, you know, Gonna Kill You If You Cheat. Like, you know, they're still being that, but I feel like it's a good blend of like young people talking about mature concepts, and again, they're fantastic singers.
What was the one? Does She Think of Me?
Wonder What She Thinks of Me. Yeah.
So there's a lot of production just by Chloe, wasn't there? Like she
yeah,
did a lot of the
they produced
herself.
all even their first album. They produced all of it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the fact that they produced everything as well is like, more brownie points for me. To honest. So, gosh, insane.
Yeah,
insane
I think
artists.
it's a feat because obviously they've been, as you said, they've been around for a long time, and like to navigate like your late teens into early 20s, untainted, like your image intact.
Yeah, that's true.
That takes a lot, like either people around you and yourself, like because most kind of music stars, TV stars, they go through a lot.
I mean, there was that one Diggy rumor where they said Chloe and Diggy Simmons were dating. So you know that song? Let me have to find the track listen. It goes like Busy Boy. That song.
Oh, the Busy Boy one.
Yeah. Obviously, some people are saying like, cause Diggy had a child. Some people are saying like, you know, Chloe's talking about finding out about the pregnant girl.
Ooh,
that was a reference to Diggy. So I mean, not fully clear, but who knows, innit? But there's some people rumor it could be about Diggy Simmons.
But there's definitely a maturity to the album as
100%.
well. Like it's proper, like sophisticated R&B.
For
sure. Actual songs in there.
Yeah.
There are a few moments in there, especially because I mean their harmonies are like crazy good.
Yeah.
But like there are moments in certain songs where maybe it's just because I knew Beyonce was executive producer, but it's like some like little, you know, Destiny's Child like moments in there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Especially
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
What song was it? On Busy Boy.
Yeah. Even the way they kind of like did I get what you're saying actually.
Yeah.
I can imagine Beyonce and Kelly Rowland kind of doing that back and forth as well. You know, I get what you're saying. That's a good point actually. Good record.
Yeah,
man.
it's a great album.
Let's go Big Conspiracy. Big Conspiracy made your list. Let's talk about J Hus.
Yeah.
How do you think of J Hus this year?
It was so long ago that it felt like it was a 2019 album. So I mean, what was it? January?
Yeah.
Must have been January. Yeah.
It's January.
I mean, everyone knows I love production.
Yeah.
J5, TSB, and IO.
I absolutely destroyed it this year.
The three of them just, is insane. I think in terms of like actual beats, I think top ones for me on the album are probably Play,
okay,
Fortune Teller, Triumph. I think Triumph is a song that is like probably my favorite beat on there. There's the one with like the trumpets and it has some organs.
I think it's super underrated.
Yeah.
I think there was a time that I think it was one of the Core Social videos when they were talking about they were doing a JS playlist. I think someone said Triumph was one of the best produced beats, and they were looking at him like he was crazy.
No,
and
they're 100% right.
Yeah, and I think it is. I think maybe the song doesn't have the most compelling lyrics on the album, of course not, but the beat is ridiculous. Even how it's kind of made to seem kind of old as well. Like the way they did the production, like kind of seems like it's like an analog recording. Like it's fucking ridiculous that song. Yeah,
it's a crazy beat.
100%.
The way they layer it and like the way the trumpets and the like kind of synthy organs come in at different. It's insane.
Fucking insane, man.
I know he does get a bit of criticism from some people being like, his lyrics aren't the most. He's not the most advanced like lyricist. He isn't. Like fair enough. Like not every rapper at his age is the complete package.
Do you know what it is? I had a huge debate with one of my mates about this last week where I was basically saying, because you know people kind of put like J Hus and Dave, they kind of compare them as if it's like Jay-Z and Nas.
I knew we were going to get to that,
Yeah, where it's like, Nas is the lyrical guy and, you know, Jay-Z is just a guy who makes fun songs. And people say the same thing about J Hus, like, he's not a lyricist, but he makes fun songs. And, you know, but Dave is the lyricist from D.O. But I told my friend, like, but really and truly, has there ever been a time where Dave has outbarred J Hus? I don't think it's ever happened. Like, you look at Samantha, you look at Disaster. J Hus, like, he's one of those guys where he can turn it on when he wants to. Like, you have songs like deeper than rap, where he can just like instantly like go into that pocket. Disaster, like he's keeping up with it. Like I think again, and the thing about, I think the way people define lyricism needs to be like revised often, because lyricism isn't just always about big words or metaphors and innuendos. Lyricism is sometimes
so was in top set English.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's all of the above. It's kind of how the way you put words together to emphasize an image or an idea. That's what lyricism is to me, and that doesn't mean you need to be as complicated or technical as possible to do that. You don't. But yeah, for sure. No, I think JLC is pretty much a lyricist. That's what I'm saying. I kind of disagree with you. I think JLC is 100% a lyricist, but he maybe not in a conventional sense.
Yeah, not in a conventional sense.
Yeah, he's gonna throw like, you know, what's the word? He's not gonna throw these like little 2 bars like, oh, like he's not that type of guy. But I think the way he puts
the song you mentioned though, like the outro song. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That is a brilliant
and
song.
the thing about him, I always give people underrate this aspect so much, is that he's created so many words that people use in UK slang. Like people weren't using the word bunda like that. Like no one's fucking doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like some of the words he used, like, and in fact, like he can use them in these songs and everyone understands it. Like, oh yeah, I came with a bunsum. Like what? Like who was saying this before? Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just. Yeah, or usna, or like so many words. Like he's coming. Like that's who else is doing that? That is the epitome of lyricism. If we're being honest. So I that's why I feel like you can't not call him a lyricist. Honestly,
Fair enough.
you know, great album. Great album.
Yeah, humor on it. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's a very funny man.
He's like
probably one of the
Shaitan
funniest.
in police uniform.
Yeah,
Benton helicopter. Seen pigs fly, but I've never seen a unicorn.
That is honestly probably one of the funniest bars of this year.
It's got to be. It's
the way he said it so like casually as well. Like you know that was funny. Like everyone was probably laughing in the studio when you said that. Like that is hilarious. Like no, great album.
That's good. I think narrative as well, like the context of everything. Like it was definitely. I think obviously a lot of people are like, no, common sense was so much better. You know, like it was more experimental. There were so many more bangers. Like it was kind of an experiment, like an exhibition of like different styles and stuff. Whereas this one was a lot more like measured, and I think people don't appreciate it for that.
I think it's just more thematic. I think you just don't understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's what it is.
I think the flows are better.
100%.
It's a project in itself, whereas Common Sense was like a collection of experiences, like stories, like, you know, fantasies about doing different things.
Yeah, I think there's a huge theme about trust in the album. I think he's mentioned it again, like I thought you were a friend, but you were op. He's mentioned it a few times in the album. It's like, and even like the title name, like I'm still trying to pick my brain on what does he really even mean. And in fact, they underline piracy as well. Like, what does he mean by that? I think there's more to the album than meets the eye, and I think that's what makes it so interesting as well. It's like I don't think he's just saying stuff. I think maybe Common Sense, he's probably was just trying to make hits, but I don't think he's just saying stuff on this record. No. I think there's a lot of topics he's talking about where it's like, oh, raw, like, what happened there? Or like, even Fight for Your Right. I know a lot of people were speaking about that last week. You know, he fucked his friend's girl. Like, that 100% happened. Like, from what I've heard, that 100% is true. So, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, all this stuff about trust and loyalty and stuff like that, it's such a big theme in the album. So, I really fuck with it, to be honest.
I think the thing of, like, vulnerability in this, I mean, going back to the final song, like, there's a lot of, like, reckoning with what he's done and, like, with his past, the way it's affected. Like, his mum is like, how many times have I lied to my mum?
Yeah.
And, like, I think it's a brilliant album. Like, mental health.
Yeah.
Dealing with all those kind of things in there, like, looking back at, like, prison time, all those kind of things. I think
being black in the country and stuff like that. Yeah, like that song is just next level, isn't it? Like that,
and the production is just completely pulled back. Like it's so minimalist. It's just literally his voice and a couple of keys.
It's insane. Like he's just one of those guys. Like I really do think he's just a guy like at the front of the army, just like leading the charge when it comes to UK music, like 100%, and I cannot wait.
I hope he continues making music.
Honestly, I cannot wait because he puts these little snippets out now and again, and he just sounds like, oh, like I know it's only been like a year, but I need more from you, mate.
He's unbelievably talented.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, moving on to talented people, you had Tiana Taylor on your list. You haven't mentioned Tiana Taylor much this year, so I'm surprised that was on the list. Yeah,
I'd say. I mean, to be fair, only last couple of months have I really listened. I'd say the last like month, I've listened to it a little bit. I think it was when we, probably a couple weeks before we were looking at the Grammys. I was kind of looking at. I think we must have had a conversation saying, you know, there hadn't been as many R&B albums that we'd loved this year, and I knew Tiana had come out with one. I just never really taken the time because it was a long album.
It is a long album
called The Album.
It really is
the
album.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. I think just because it was like visually just looking at the album, like, okay, this is going to be a complete different story from her 2017 one. The like Kanye production, the whole Wyoming spree of.
Was that 2018?
2017.
2017.
Daytona was 2017, right?
It was 2018.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Okay, fact check.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and she definitely was upset about that album.
Yeah,
like
she didn't feel that.
Yeah,
showed her off.
To be honest, even though I think most people agree it's a pretty good album, but I think especially when it comes to R&B singers, I don't think they're really used to like 7 songs. Like they do way more than 7.
I think hers was 8.
Yes, it was. It was. Yeah, like it's still really short for someone. Tiana Taylor's last album before that was years ago. So like I think for her, it's like I had so much to put out, and you restricted me to 8 songs because you had this weird idea that this was the perfect number. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, no, I think this album's like, I'm gonna overcompensate. I'm gonna give you everything you guys missed and more. So, but again, also the whole streaming shit. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, another person coming out with like 20 odd songs. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone's doing that these days. Like 20 seems to be like the number everyone's trying to hit these days.
Edna. 20.
Yeah, Edna's 20.
Yeah, so many of them are long. I liked it though. I think it was. I know it was 23 tracks.
Yeah, for sure.
I could say a lot about that, but I think the production on it was interesting. Like there were lots of different types of beats. I think it was a very conventional R&B album. I think. I don't know. I think it just like allowed her voice to shine a little bit more than it did on the previous album.
And she's working with a lot of people here.
Good features on it.
Yeah, I think the one thing I just didn't like was the intro. I didn't.
It was like a recording of her birth, right?
And obviously that's obviously a beautiful moment for them. 100%. But if I'm listening to an album and that's for me, who's not related to Tiana Taylor, I'm like, okay, how does this relate to?
Interesting though, because I feel like, as we were just talking about J House with like the last song, typically the last song on every album, if you're gonna get personal, you're gonna get personal on the last song.
Yes, 100%.
She's gone for it on the first song of the album.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a statement. I don't know. I liked it. I was like, wow, okay,
that is true.
I know we're gonna be getting like the real.
But then I think it kind of baits you thinking, oh, there's gonna be like a concept behind this record, because you start off with like the birth of your child. All right, okay, it's album, like you think, okay, this album gonna surround the birth of your child, and then you got Rick Ross on the next song. It's like, okay, like do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the part that confused me. It's like,
fair enough.
Did you want to, if you want to make an ode to your daughter, that's 100%. But to call it intro, it's like, okay, the intro is mainly the mission statement to an album. It's like, but maybe she is dedicating this album to a child. I don't know, but I would have thought there would be more songs kind of tying into that theme. But
fair enough. I don't know. I kind of liked it. I think throughout the album, she kind of gets pretty vulnerable. Like looks a lot at her past and her history. I know there are like references to like being cheated on by a previous partner, and then obviously now like grappling with that and saying she's not gonna obviously like. She doesn't want to like disrespect herself again. By I don't know if she continued in the previous version. I don't know, but kind of a message for herself and for like listeners.
Like a lot of it was interesting. Yeah, you would have thought that she broke up with Iman like recently. The way she's kind of singing on some of these songs, like that's why I remember I was listening to it and I was like, wait, that's pretty sure she's still married. Like, what's going on here? But I don't know. That's the thing about R&B singers, right? Like, I always say I can never date an R&B singer because I can't just have you sitting there just singing your heart out about the last relationship and you're fully married with a kid. Like, where's this even coming from? Like, what's going on here? Like, what have you told me, mate? So, like, yeah, it's just weird. Obviously, I know, obviously, there's skill in that, but it's like, yeah, a lot of songs are to do with, like, things that aren't happening right now, which, again, when you've talked about the birth of your child and you're talking about a guy who's, like, done you wrong, it's like, what? Like, like honestly, like, you put those two together, it doesn't really make sense.
I mean, I can't understand it, but I guess if you're in that situation, maybe you're just like, it's okay, baby. Like, you're just talking about your past. Like,
Yeah. I wouldn't be in
I'll
the
see you
studio,
when you're
though.
back home from the
I'll
studio.
I would be I'll be pouting the whole time. Like, I'll be mad sour. Like, what? Like, give me one song where you talk about me and the stuff I do for you. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I always had no Amman's features on the album, but still, like, that's a bit strange, but whatever.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, one of the purest R&B albums this year. The Big Sean feature was okay.
Yeah.
I know I hate on Big Sean a lot. It's honestly when he starts going like lower register Big Sean, you know you're gonna get some corny shit.
Yeah. He always
you know he's
that.
gonna talk about like the stars and the planets and like how many diamonds he's gonna buy you.
Yeah. I mean the Davido feature was quite good as well. Yeah. I was quite surprised for that as well.
When she kind of called it the album, she said on an interview, I think it was Apple Music, that like it stood for something. But if anyone out there understands this, please let us know. A apparently means romance.
What?
L means sexuality. B value. U vulnerability. And M triumph.
That sounds like bullshit.
Riddle me that. I
No, sorry. No,
I don't know what that means.
But
she
like
told
bullshit.
Apple Music that. What does it? How?
What? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
You don't?
Whatever.
Okay.
I don't
anyway,
believe that.
If someone out there's a huge Tayana fan, let us know. Because I don't know.
No, that sounds ridiculous. What? No, I don't even want to entertain that. I'm gonna get triggered, and I'm enjoying my massage.
I'm just gonna repeat it for you: romance, sexuality, value, vulnerability, triumph.
What, in a different language? Like,
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I read it. I read an article about it and her interview.
Oh, that
makes no
really
sense.
Anyway.
But yeah, I thought it was a sound album.
Okay.
But yeah, talk to me about Blue and XR.
Oh, Blue and XR. You know I love me some Blue and XR. Like,
I do.
I think I've tweeted this before, but I always say Blue was like the J. Cole before J. Cole. Like, Blue's been making music for almost a decade and a half, if not more now. Like, super, super talented guy. One of the best guys in the underground hip hop scene. Obviously, XL was the producer he kind of came up with.
Yeah.
So he had his record, Below the Heavens, which came out in 2007. Massive classic in the underground.
I only came onto that like a year ago. Loved it.
Absolutely amazing.
Loved it.
Album in terms of like young adulthood. Like, fucking amazing. Like, I can't recommend that album enough. So they haven't collabed in like some years now. And obviously, every time they come together, it's good vibes. But I think the last time they collabed was like 6, 7 years ago. So they were collabing again. Miles, dedicated to Miles Davis. It's like an hour and a half.
It's long.
It's a long album. I was like, I gotta listen to this. And again, like, we have another artist who's kind of like using the jazz influence. So obviously, I don't want to say it's not To Pimp a Butterfly in any chance. Well, obviously, To Pimp a Butterfly uses jazz influence, but this uses it in a different way. I always like when people merge different genres together. So yeah, you have two people again. Seem like they haven't missed a beat since their last record. Like, I know it's a long album, and anyone who knows me knows I don't like long albums, but this album is fucking sick. Like, so like, do you know what it is? It would have been higher if the length was shorter, and I don't even want it to be shorter, but I'm just talking about stuff I go back to often. If it was short, I think this probably would have been album of the year, because so many things they're touching on this record is just insane.
Yeah.
Like, so songs like Music Is My Everything, True and Living. One song that's really good, You Ain't Never Been Blue. It's kind of a funny song, but it's kind of the stuff he's talking about, like, you think you're broke or you think you're down bad, like, you ain't never been blue. Like, you know what I mean? It's so stupid, but I think the way Blue kind of talks to the average person, while still kind of keeping this supreme level of lyricism whilst being so conscious, is like ridiculous. Not see XL. I mean, again, I haven't really heard of him much outside of Blue, but his production on this is just insane as well. Like, and also you have that jazz player kind of talking through some of the songs as well. Like, yeah, there's so much of this album that I really, really, really love, and even that closing song is just ridiculous. Like, a good posse cut, it gets my heart.
I wish I'd listened to this album more. I think, like you were saying, if it was a bit shorter, I would have definitely listened to it more times and put it on my list. But
there's so many good songs. Like, it won't fit in this episode, really and truly, if I'm being honest. Like, there's just so many good songs that are just coming into it. Like, The American Dream is so, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that was one of your playlists. It's so relevant to today. Like, I feel like he's able to kind of talk to the listener and also talk about current issues and just kind of do it in a way where it's not corny or anything like that. And again, like, even though it's a long album, I don't feel like he's being samey, and I don't think he's just doing it to fill in streams. I think he really just had a lot of things to talk about, and yeah, they both just kind of performed really well here. Like, yeah, cannot recommend this album enough. Like, yeah, it would have been higher if it was shorter, 100%.
Yeah, they're hitting it. I'm gonna quickly jump in with a couple my other two.
Go
Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof. Yeah, so I think the thing with this album is like the production.
Yeah.
Hit Boy, I mean, one of the producers of the year has got to be like,
100%. He's easily
brilliant.
Easily like Hit Boy. Obviously, Hit Boy's been around for so long. He's made so many great songs with so many great artists. Obviously, Drake being a huge standout, but I think this year I feel like he just kind of woke up this year and decided, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, he's like, he just decided this is gonna be the year. Like, I'm just gonna do it as much as I can. Maybe I don't know what's going on. Maybe he just thought, you know what, this year is going to shit. If anything happens, I just want to make sure I've done everything. Yeah. And he literally did everything. Like, he's been on Nas's album, Big Sean's album, Conway's album, Benny's album. Like, he's been everywhere. Like, this guy, you can't get away from him. And then with Benny the Butcher as well, obviously a fantastic artist.
Ridiculous. I think what this album really does is, because obviously all of Griselda, they've all released their projects this year. But like this one, especially for Benny, is just like, he really believes he's the best right now.
Huge growth as well.
It's just like his album being like, you know what, I'm the best rapper there is.
Yeah, and
no one upstages him on the album.
No, absolutely not. And even he said, like, one of the intro lines is, last year was about branding, this year's about expanding. Yeah. Like, he knows, like, and even the closing song where it's like, they're saying I'm gonna be a legend then, I'm a legend now. Like, and one thing I like about Benny is, like, even though he is kind of channeling the spirit of like 90s Jay-Z, he's doing it in a way where it's like, it doesn't come across like gimmicky or corny, and he's still kind of bringing it to 2020. So even this like album kind of reminds me of like, like post like Reasonable Doubt, like maybe like Volume 1, Volume 2. It's like, but again, it's like, it's just more, it's like the beats, they sound more modern, but it doesn't seem like he's losing his authenticity at the same time.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, songs like Famous.
I need to talk about Famous. Is such a brilliant song.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a crazy song.
There's a quote in it that I've written down. It was like, what do you say here? 3 rollies, 2 cribs, 6 figures, and I still don't feel famous.
I mean, like the only time he felt rich when he touched a brick or something like that. I was like, awkward. Like, the way he said it was like, it's like, what was it? I'm a dealer to the judge and a sinner to the Pope. Yeah. I mean, no, honestly, like, also, with a name like Benny the Butcher, like, he's probably not lying in these raps. Like, the thing, his imagery, because he's lived such a vivid life. Like, when he says stuff, the imagery is just so strong and apparent. Really hits you. And again, the features on this as well. I liked when Freddie Gibbs,
Rick Ross.
Do you know what I mean? I think the Freddie Gibbs was like kind of funny because like he did the chorus like a few times, and you kind of left feeling, oh, is he gonna do a verse? And he kind of knew that as well. He's like, I wasn't gonna do a verse, but I'm gonna do it now. I was like, I really liked that. I was like, when they kind of like, they know what listens, what they're so in tune with like what people expect of them as well. So obviously Rick Ross as well, absolutely perfect beat for him as well. Like, all the features work, all the songs work. He's got way more personal in this record, like kind of talking about his brother dying and stuff like that.
I think definitely the moments of vulnerability on it are like surprising, and also they work well. Yeah,
they work really well. And so this is gonna be your debut project.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, what's coming out? What's coming after next? Do you know what I mean? So like, yeah, honestly, like, fantastic.
I think the only song that slightly missed for me was the Dom Kennedy one, Over the Limit. The beat just didn't hit as much for me.
I can take that.
But I think even where the beats aren't as like, I don't know, like typically like Hit Boy, kind of like bright, lively drums, like Benny the Butcher's lyrics always come through. Like they always make up for it if there's a slight kind of offbeat or something. I don't know. But yeah, what an album.
Yeah, that's crazy album. No, I mean,
Griselda, man.
Griselda have had a fantastic year, and even though I think they probably wouldn't even like being called underground, but I feel like they're in that little limbo where it's like, who knows which way it's gonna go. Like, I think in terms of rappers, I think they've gained the respect of everyone
at this time last year. Could you name? I probably couldn't name them probably just over a year ago.
I mean, I knew of them last year. I think the fact that within the rap industry, I mean, they've already featured with Pusha T, they've already featured with Black Thought, they've signed to Rock Nation. Like, everyone in the rap industry knows them, respects them. It's now like pushing them out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, you know, in people's peripherals in the years to come.
Definitely.
So,
I'll give a couple minutes before I hand over to you. Boldy James, The Alchemist.
yeah, I listened to this album.
Price of Tea in China. This album is, I'd say it's an immersive experience because compared to a lot of like production that Alchemist has done with other artists, is very, very understated. Like the instrumentals are a lot of just kind of like low key loops. It's kind of all quite like predictable, like kind of down tempo music. But yeah, I mean, The Alchemist is, I would say he's just like unrivaled as a producer in the 100%. Sense of his like ability to create like just sinister atmosphere from music.
Yes.
And it obviously works so well with artists like Boldy James, with people who have kind of like that like monotonous like rhythm, or like just really, like, what's the word when you have a little ticker on top of the piano, what's it called?
A metronome.
Yeah, like metronomic like flow.
Yeah.
And I think that it works so well together.
Sure, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why him and Freddie got nominated for the Grammy. I think people, obviously, Alchemist's been around for a million years,
over
like,
20 years.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think even like him and Hit Boy, like in particular, it's like it feels like just this year they've just decided, like I don't know what it is. Like, and the thing is, like, it's hard enough for an artist to be around for so many years and get better. But I think producers, when you kind of maybe you kind of feel like you've heard it all, and then like you're still kind of producing these beats, it's like, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
it's actually mad. The guy loves his craft. Like if you watch any interview with him or watch kind of videos on YouTube of him, he's just like, he's so invested in his craft. He's like, when I meet up with friends, they come to me because I'm always in the studio, and they just like sit there and just listen because I'm just there making music.
Damn.
It's mad. There also a lot of really good moments on there on the album. He's kind of like grappling like with his past and like working out how he can kind of like, well, he can't really, I guess that's a lot of what the album is, like he can't really escape from the past. There's a good line on Pinto where he's like, before I had a fan base, I was selling tan flakes, raking in the cash, trying to make sure my man's straight. Now everybody breaking bags, shook of all that dead weight, upgrading my stash, shaking that bag like a landscape.
I like that. I actually like that. You know that video on YouTube, Rate the Bars. I'm like, oh, that's a 5. That's a 5. I like that. I like that really. Yeah. I might have to listen to that one. After this episode.
Yeah, it's brilliant. He has a song with Vince Staples on there. Freddie Gibbs, I think, is on there. Freddie Gibbs is on there.
Freddie Gibbs everywhere, isn't he?
It's sick.
Yeah, I think the last one I wanted to kind of just touch on. I think we touched on all of them. Is obviously Run the Jewels 4. Run the Jewels is like RT. Everyone knows Killer Mike, and it's LP that people sleep on. Like LP is just a ridiculous artist. And obviously he's a fantastic producer, but when them two can't come together, they've never missed. I don't think they ever will miss, like ever in their lives, like they've been doing this for what, 6-7 years now, doing Run the Jewels. And most people, they drop the same name of the album 4 times. I think it was
2012 was Killer Mike's last studio album that LP was produced, and then they then they started together. Yeah, it's been like 7 long.
Oh, was that rap music?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I just think of that Kendrick line. What's it called? If you cared about rapping, then Killer Mike would be platinum. But, you know. But anyways, when these two come together, it's always magic. And I think again, lockdown affects this as well, because obviously there's not like a huge like tour run or press release when they're dropping these albums. They just kind of drop it and move on their lives. But yeah, Run the Jewels 4, like, again, always talking about things that are relevant, always keeping the beats as hard as fucking possible. While still maintaining great lyricism. And yeah, it's just a fun album to listen to. Like, it's one of those albums like you can sit down and listen to it and take stuff from it, or you can be like playing basketball. And
it's such an interesting album.
Yeah,
like I think people underestimate, because you think, oh, Run the Jewels, you don't kind of. I personally haven't until recently like gone in and been like, rah, like this Killer Mike's flows are like actually insane. Like he's a fantastic, like, I don't know, maybe it's like his political stance. I know a lot of people don't maybe it might rub people the wrong way sometimes, but in terms of like, for just sticking to the music, like
he's a fantastic artist, and I think
Yeah.
everyone knows that really. Do you know what I mean? I think him sticking with LP, I think it's just a perfect combination. Like I think with them, I think they just kind of decided like it's not broke, so they're not gonna fix it. So
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, but yeah, that kind of wraps it up for our first kind of album of the year episode. As always, you can find us on Instagram at the Vinyl Collective Pod. You can find us on Twitter at TVC Pod. Then you can find us on kind of Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Where we upload all our episodes. If you don't want to subscribe somewhere, then you can find us on YouTube.
Yeah.
No shade if you do that.
Also set up a Facebook page as well. So stay tuned for that as well. They have more things to come. And I was going to mention something else.
Now and then playlist. Just quickly do it.
Now and then playlist. Yes, that's the one.
I'm going to hit them quick. So Madlib. Oh, I'm so excited about this new album that's coming out. Yeah.
Yes.
Fortet is kind of like arranging it all. So Madlib sent him like hundreds of tracks over a few years, and like Fortet wanted to like create a narrative, I guess, out of all these songs. So the first song to come out was Road of the Lonely One. Yes. I think it is incredible.
It is a really good song.
The vocal loop on that song, just like I think I've listened to it maybe 6 or 7 times today. But yeah, that's my now song. My then song is I Want to Get to Know You from Joe and G Unit.
Ooh, okay. That's a throwback.
It is. The song is great though.
What's got you listening to that, mate? What the hell? All right.
I made like a 20-hour playlist a few years ago of like 90s and like early 2000s songs, like proper throwbacks.
Okay.
It's a young buck. His first verse on that song, I defy anyone to tell me different, is really good.
Okay. All right. Cool. So my now song, I'll put Blanco Shippuden. Blanco's had a great year.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic drill artist. I don't even know. I mean, in terms of Harlem Spartans, I think for me, he's definitely like numero uno, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of Ven, I've been listening to a lot of Beyonce recently. So
you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Oh, there's so many fucking good songs from Lemonade. I'm gonna say Formation. You know what it is? Formation's beat is so. That's not even human. That beat is so ridiculous. So yeah, I'm gonna say Formation. Yeah. I like the whole album, but I'm gonna say for that beat just gets me every time. Like it's absolutely hypnotic. So that's my demo for this week.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, you can catch us on socials, and again next week we will be back with our second episode of the album of the year.
Yeah.
We'll go from best album number 5 all the way to best album of the year. Numero uno. Yeah.
Cool. See you then. Peace.